a new music review for you, and this is the 2012 album Love the Giant, which was a collaboration between David Byrne and St. Vincent's Annie Clark, a couple of musical alchemists. Byrne, of course, famous for his work with Talking Heads and a very productive solo career. He's prolific in music, film art and theatre, and he's met with one Annie Clark, a woman feted with the ingenuity of her arrangements, with the swoon of her voice. I haven't heard too much of her material with St. Vincent, but this album did attract me. It's Byrne's ninth studio album overall since the end of Talking Heads, Clark's fourth, and they began working together in 2009. The duo had previously played together live at the Actor Tour concert, and on the album Here Lies Love, a previous collaboration that Byrne had with Fatboy Slim. The performers enlisted a variety of brass musicians to augment their songwriting, and they toured for over a year to promote the album. Byrne and Clark each write and sing their own lyrics, with the exception of the track The Forest Awakes, which Byrne wrote and Clark sings. The album cover, if maybe you're wondering, was inspired by Beauty and the Beast, Byrne apparently being the beauty and Clark being the grotesque beast. This is one of the last albums reviews that I'm going to do where I actually go through all the tracks. I did promise the new year faithful that I was going to cut them down to 4 or 5 tracks, but this one I'd virtually completed, so here goes. We're going to go through the tracks, starting off with the first one. It's called Who. There's a funky rhythm that's married with the groovy pop vocals of Clark, and she certainly does have a swoon-like voice. The foot tapping stuff knits the percussion with tuneful chorus, and those horns just glide out at you. Lyrically, I think the song ponders an array of Who questions that will provide you, the listener, to have gratitude and greater insight and appreciation of others. This is Weekend in the Dust. It starts with a mix of definitive Clark-like vocals, and there's a chaotic Latin-style rhythm. The brass arrangements squirt out at you with Clark's voice adding to a pushy, funky beat. Can you hear the euphonium and tuba? Lyrically, I think it's about huge success and how that can make you somewhat extinct and without hunger, and excitement and is effectively dead on you. Next up, track 3, Dinner for Two, a funk bass brass afro beat here, weird and interesting. Music taking risks for sure, with rhythms that enables horn solo to shoot out briefly. It's got some lovely trumpets on it as well. Lyrically, I think it's about a wealthy party of politicians in an environment that's not too safe, possibly requiring military assistance. A military present hold up possibly in an embassy as there's a coup carrying out outside the grounds, and they're two strangers in an attempt to cope with the uncertainty and the fear make a sort of a match with each other to maintain some sense of sanity as they get ready for a potential curfew. Ice Age is next. Lots of synthesized bass on this, French horns and a bass trombone, and the sax and trumpet are featured. Annie and the horns duet in a sort of rhythm-like a montage of whirl-like harmonies. There's a neat funky beat, and the horns gyrate with the synths alongside. It's a very jerky rhythm track. Lyrically, a start warning maybe about the thaw at the ice caps and the danger to the planet. Well, that's what I gathered. Next up is track 5, I Am an Ape. I do like this one. Double lead vocals on here with a jazzy style lounge jazz style intro. 1 minute in, the sleazy rhythms start, and it's slower, more ballad-like, and there's some lovely clarinet that feeds into the sound. Lyrically, Darwin and the origin of the species. Shall we not forget, and time will pass, and we will become mere statues. That's what Byrne is putting forward on this one. The Forests Awake, track 6. The shuffling horns almost dribbling out at the start. It's got a seductive beat, and it awakens as in the title. Heavy rhythmic chords finishing the track. Lyrically, another one about the environment, I think, politically making statements about its constant changing in flux, and a message to avoid complacency about your current abode. To track 7 then, I Should Watch TV. It's notable for French horns again and a throbbing bass line. Byrne's vocals are somewhat comedic. It's got a shuffle beat, and the lyrics suggest that technology could be a fix for man's ills. Its bridge slows to a dirge, with more horns shuddering to the outro. It's his Lazarus. It's got a disjointed beat that introduces a duet between the two celebrities before Annie's harmonies wash over the rhythms. The drums are more up-tempo as the sound breaks out midway, and again the horns swim to that feet-tapping beat. Lyrically, I found this one a bit difficult to understand. I tried to avoid the religious interpretation, but I think it does reflect on hard work and the emphasis they're at, and the rewards in terms of quality mental health. Lazarus receiving better health from the intervention of the man Jesus. Track 9 is called The Optimist. It highlights an omnichord from Byrne, and also a smutter of clarinet, and the horn backdrops to a skippy trumpet-led beat. It has a sort of Broadway show feel with the orchestral elements. Annie's vocals are more subdued here. Warm and jangly guitars take us to the outro. Lyrically, it's symbolising the thought process. And to track 10 now, Lightning. This has an experimental brass band avant-garde feel with a percussion and horn combo feel throughout. Originality defines this tribal-like sound. Lyrically, I think it's a whimsical look at the power of nature through weather. To track 11 then, The One Who Broke Your Heart. David increases the tempo on this one. There's more talking head style rhythm, brass beat shuffle. There's a full band sound as well. There's a neat guitar break. Not many on this album, but there is one. It's the horns and trumpets that drive the song as usual, plus some tuba and trombone thrown in. What else? Lyrically, well, what's this about? Not too sure. We're born equal, we all seek the same, but ensure that you get love yourself, because that's guaranteed. And then on to the final track, Outside of Space and Time. This closure has some spacious horns, Broadway style again, waltz-shaped almost, and in essence it captures the progressive lyric rhythmic experience with the ambience. Lyrically, I think it's Byrne imagination, and it really does defeat me in terms of interpretation. So there we have it. I have to say about this album, it helps to like Byrne's solo work, but it's quite a demanding album to listen to. It's quite jagged, and the rhythms are not sort of necessarily conducive to floating into a dance-like feel, but it grows on you, and it's complex, and it has its rewards. Byrne's collaborations are usually very, very effective, and this one is no exception. I would suggest you give it at least half a dozen listens before you make judgment on it. But there it is anyway. Love This Giant, 2012, David Byrne and Saint Etienne.